Have you ever felt that deep emptiness, even when surrounded by people? Have you ever had the sensation that something essential is missing from your life, yet you can't exactly name what it is? Have you ever found yourself staring out the window, your heart heavy, simply wishing for someone who truly understands you? Someone who can share silences without judgment, and someone who makes you feel that you belong somewhere. This was the reality of Camila Rivera, a young Latina just 24 years old who carried within her a world of dreams, but at the same time felt the suffocating weight of loneliness. For many, youth is a time of freedom, discoveries, parties, and friends that seem endless. But for Camila, the days seemed longer and longer, and the lack of genuine connection made her question whether something was wrong with her. She had classmates at university, acquaintances who exchanged occasional messages, but deep down, she felt it was all superficial, as if she were always a guest at a party she never truly belonged to. Every night, as she lay in the small bed of her apartment, Camila felt the silence echo louder than any music she could put in her headphones. Her phone would sometimes buzz, but the messages were empty, quick exchanges that did not fill the void she carried in her chest. Her restless mind began repeating negative thoughts. Do I not deserve someone who truly understands me? Is true friendship not meant for me? This whirlwind of emotions made her even more withdrawn, creating a cycle that seemed never-ending. It was in this context of fragility that she discovered something that would completely change her life: the law of attraction. But before believing it, before allowing herself to dive into this possibility, Camila had to hit rock bottom in her loneliness. There were days when she cried for no apparent reason, simply because she felt that no one truly cared. On social media, it seemed that everyone had a perfect life, with abundant friends, trips, outings, and endless smiles. As Camila scrolled through her feed, she felt increasingly distant from that reality, as if she were a spectator in a show she would never be part of. One day, after another night of silent tears, Camila got up early and decided to take a walk in the park near her apartment. It was a simple place, but it had old trees, a small lake, and wooden benches worn by time. She sat on one of them and just watched people pass by: mothers with children, couples running hand in hand, elderly people feeding pigeons. Everything seemed so natural, yet at the same time so distant from her. It was there, on that bench, that Camila made herself a silent promise. She needed to change. She didn't know how, she didn't know where to start, but something inside her screamed that she could not keep living this way. That same day, upon returning home, she opened her computer and typed into the search engine how to find true friendship. Among the many articles and videos that appeared, one title caught her attention: How the Law of Attraction Can Bring Amazing People into Your Life. Camila had never heard about it in depth. Click after click, she began diving into accounts of people who claimed to have attracted relationships, jobs, opportunities, and even transformative friendships just by changing their thoughts and vibrations. At first, it seemed too good to be true, but something inside her ignited, like the first spark of hope after a long time. In the following days, Camila studied more and more about the subject. She discovered that the law of attraction is based on the idea that what we focus on expands, that our thoughts and emotions have the power to shape reality. If she continued to focus on loneliness, on emptiness, she would attract more of it into her life. But if she could change her focus, if she could imagine herself surrounded by people who loved and supported her, she could begin to change the course of her own story. The concept seemed simple, but applying it in practice was challenging. Camila realized that her automatic thoughts were full of negativity. Every time she saw herself alone, she reinforced the belief that she would never have a true friendship. It was as if she were trapped in a gear that only turned in the same direction. But now, armed with this new knowledge, she decided to try. That night before going to sleep, she closed her eyes and tried to visualize. It wasn't about daydreaming or creating fantasies, but about truly feeling. Camila imagined herself sitting in a cozy cafe, laughing with a friend she hadn't met yet. She visualized deep conversations, sincere exchanges, unexpected messages that would make her smile. More than that, she tried to feel the joy, the gratitude for already having that in her life, even if in the physical realm it hadn't happened yet. At first, Camila's mind resisted. She heard an inner voice saying, "This is ridiculous, you're fooling yourself, this will never happen." But instead of giving up, she remembered what she had read. Persistence was essential. So she repeated the exercise the next night, and the next, and the next. Gradually, she noticed a subtle change within herself. The simple act of imagining a genuine friendship made her wake up feeling lighter, more willing. It was as if a certainty was beginning to grow inside her that it was possible. One of the videos she watched also recommended writing positive affirmations in a journal. So Camila bought a new diary and every morning wrote sentences like, "I am worthy of true friendships. I attract people who love and respect me. I deserve deep and sincere connections." At first, they seemed like just words on paper. But over time, these phrases began to gain strength, infiltrating her mind, replacing the old beliefs that trapped her. With every page written, Camila felt she was reprogramming her own story. Curiously, even before manifesting the friendship she longed for, the practice of the law of attraction was already bringing real changes in her life. She began to smile more, to feel more confident. Small interactions that would have gone unnoticed now became opportunities for connection. A quick conversation with the cafe barista, a friendly greeting from a neighbor in the elevator, a shared glance with a classmate. These small openings began to warm Camila's heart, showing her that she was no longer as isolated as she had believed. And although she hadn't yet found that transformative friendship, she could already feel the universe moving in her favor. The most impressive change was in her energy. People began noticing something different about her. A classmate commented, "Camila, you've been glowing lately. You seem happier." This kind of feedback, though simple, reinforced the idea that something was happening. Camila, for the first time in a long time, felt hopeful. She knew she still had a path to travel, but inside her a flame had been lit that she didn't want to let go. And this flame would mark the beginning of a journey that would completely transform her life, bringing her not only the friendship she so desired, but much more than she could have imagined. In the days following her decision to change her energy, Camila noticed that something subtle was happening. It wasn't as if the universe had flipped upside down overnight, but there was a sense of movement, like invisible gears beginning to turn in a different direction. Previously, she woke with that heaviness in her chest, a gray cloud hanging over her thoughts. Now, even though she still experienced moments of melancholy, she began to feel that each morning brought a new chance. This shift in perception seemed small, but represented a turning point. She had understood that she needed to stop fighting loneliness and start directing her attention to what she truly wanted, a friendship that would make her flourish. Each night, she visualized again the scene of being in a cafe, laughing with someone who deeply understood her. This time, however, the details began to expand. She could hear the sound of cups being placed on the table, smell the aroma of coffee, see the golden light streaming through the window, and even imagine the words exchanged in sincere conversations. The more she practiced, the more real it became inside her. At the same time, Camila kept the habit of writing her affirmations in her diary. One day, without realizing it, she wrote something different. "The universe is already bringing amazing people into my life. I feel gratitude for this friendship that is already mine." When she finished the sentence, she noticed that she was smiling. It wasn't a forced smile, but a genuine one, as if something inside her already knew it was about to manifest. It was during this same period that she began noticing curious signs. One of the first was a coincidence that seemed trivial but affected her. She was in a bookstore, exploring the self-help section, when a book fell off the shelf right beside her. The title was "The Magic of Connections: How to Attract People Who Transform Your Life." Camila laughed to herself and thought, "Okay, universe, I get it." She bought the book without hesitation and devoured its pages in a few days. Another synchronicity happened on the bus when she overheard two people behind her talking about true friendship and how rare it is to find someone who really understands us. It was as if the whole world were trying to reinforce her intention. These little signs increased her confidence, as if the universe were whispering that everything was moving in the right direction. Inspired by these experiences, Camilla decided to also change her daily attitude. Instead of hiding behind her phone during breaks at university, she began to lift her head, observe the people around her, and allow herself to smile. This small change opened space for new interactions. A classmate started a conversation about a book she was carrying. Another commented on her necklace, and suddenly Camilla began to feel more approachable. It still wasn't the deep friendship she dreamed of, but she realized she was opening doors for it to happen. One of the most remarkable moments happened on a rainy afternoon. Camilla was in her favorite cafe, the same one she had visualized in her meditations. She sat at her usual table near the window with a steaming cup of cappuccino. She watched raindrops sliding down the glass when suddenly she felt such intense peace that tears ran down her face. They weren't tears of sadness, but of gratitude. For the first time, she truly felt she was not alone. She felt already connected to that friendship, even before meeting it. It was a powerful moment because at that instant, Camilla stopped wishing desperately and began to trust completely. It was as if she had surrendered her intention to the universe and said, "I know you will bring this to me at the right time. I am already grateful." This surrender is what made everything change. Days later, the first big sign happened. In an online university study group, Camilla was assigned to do a project in pairs. Until then, she always ended up with people she barely knew, but this time, fate placed her next to a classmate she only knew by sight, Anais, a young French Latina woman with a light and captivating energy. The first meeting to discuss the project was completely practical, but Camilla noticed something different. They had similar tastes, laughed at the same things, and before they realized it, the meeting had extended beyond necessity, with personal conversations that went far beyond the academic topic. Camilla went home with a strange but good feeling. For the first time in a long time, she felt a genuine connection. She couldn't help but think, could it be her? Is the universe showing me the way? The doubt didn't extinguish hope. On the contrary, it gave her even more motivation to keep her energy high. She continued writing in her journal, visualizing her friendship, and repeating her affirmations. Curiously, she began to notice a change not only in how she related to others, but also in how she related to herself. Practicing the law of attraction led her to treat herself more kindly, celebrate small victories, and believe in her own worth. It was as if, by seeking a true friendship, she was also discovering an inner friendship with herself. This shift in energy overflowed into her actions. Feeling more confident, she began taking more social risks. She accepted invitations she would have previously declined, attended academic events, went to cafes and cultural gatherings. Each step was a challenge, but also a victory over her former self, who hid in fear of rejection. The friendship with Anais began to grow naturally. They exchanged messages almost daily, talking about dreams, fears, and even spirituality. In one of these conversations, Camilla shared about the law of attraction. She was surprised to discover that Anais also believed in it and had already manifested things in her own life. The synchronicity was so strong that they both laughed and said it couldn't be a coincidence. That night, as she lay down, Camilla felt a wave of immense gratitude. She had no doubt that the universe was working in her favor. She remembered all the times she had cried alone, all the nights she had thought she would never have a true friendship, and now she could see how all of that had prepared her for this moment. Even though the bond was just beginning, she already felt that this connection was something special. And deep down, she knew that this was only the start of a much greater transformation. With each passing day, Camilla felt something deep within her transforming. It was as if a new energy had settled into her life, a vibration that made her wake up with more hope and go to sleep with more gratitude. Meeting Anais didn't seem like a mere coincidence. It felt like a direct answer to what she had been asking of the universe. Even though their bond was just beginning, the natural way their friendship was growing was remarkable. The conversations that started timidly during their university work expanded to different areas of life. In a short time, they were sharing confidences, exchanging advice, and laughing at simple things. Those laughs that make your heart feel at home. Camilla noticed how much this friendship was healing her old wounds. For years, she had carried the feeling of being misunderstood, always on the sidelines, unable to find someone who truly saw her. But with Anais, that seemed to dissolve. For the first time, she could talk about her fears and insecurities and still feel embraced. There were no judgments, just genuine listening and sincere support, and that moved her deeply. One of the first afternoons they spent together outside of university, Anais invited her for a walk in the same park where Camilla had made that silent promise to change her life. As they strolled among ancient trees and the distant sound of children playing, Camilla shared for the first time the loneliness she had felt for so long. She spoke of the nights she cried in silence, the pain of feeling disconnected, and how she had discovered the law of attraction as a way to find hope. Anais listened attentively, without interrupting, only holding her hand at times, offering support without words. When Camilla finished, she felt lighter, as if she had lifted a tremendous weight from inside her. Then Anais revealed something that gave Camilla chills. She had also gone through a period of intense loneliness years before, and it was through spirituality and visualization practices that she had managed to attract meaningful people into her life. "I believe nothing happens by chance, Camilla. I believe the universe put us on each other's path because we both needed this friendship," Anais said, her eyes shining. Those words echoed in Camilla's mind for days. This wasn't just any friendship. It was a connection that seemed carefully orchestrated by fate, as if every step she had taken up to that point had been necessary for this meeting to happen. As time passed, more signs appeared to reinforce this perception. Small coincidences revealed an astonishing synchronicity. They liked the same kinds of music, read similar authors, had comparable dreams of traveling the world, and even shared a passion for photography. It was as if the universe had designed two puzzle pieces that finally fit together. The impact of this friendship on Camilla's life was visible. Her university peers began to notice that she seemed happier, more confident, and more open. Even her family, who lived in another city, commented during a video call on how radiant she appeared. "You seem so different, daughter. It's as if you found a new sparkle in your eyes," her mother said, with a smile. Camilla knew she had found not only a friend, but also a part of herself that had been dormant. Gradually, the loneliness that had once consumed her gave way to a sense of belonging. Anais's presence made her feel seen, validated, and welcomed. It was as if she could finally breathe fully. One Friday evening, while having tea at Anais's apartment, they talked about dreams and future plans. Camilla realized that she no longer spoke with the same insecurity she once had. She spoke with enthusiasm, with the confidence of someone who believed her desires were possible. This change did not go unnoticed. "You're blooming, Camilla," Anais said. "It's beautiful to see how you're transforming." Those words touched her deeply. Camilla remembered the times she had doubted herself, thinking she didn't deserve a true friendship. Now, she was facing someone who not only believed in her, but also reminded her daily of how capable and deserving she was of good things. The friendship also brought important lessons. There were moments when differences of opinion arose, or when misunderstandings could have created distance. But unlike past experiences, Camilla realized that this time there was maturity and a willingness to resolve issues. They spoke openly, practiced empathy, and learned to respect each other's boundaries.
This showed Camilla that a true friendship wasn't about perfection, but about authenticity and a willingness to grow together. Furthermore, being with Anais helped Camilla value the law of attraction practices even more. Now, when writing in her journal, it wasn't just about attracting a friendship, but about expanding that energy into other areas of life. She began writing phrases like, "I attract experiences that strengthen my growth. I deserve to live in healthy and enriching relationships. The universe always conspires in my favor." These new affirmations opened her mind to even greater possibilities. In parallel, she noticed that the more gratitude she felt for the friendship she already had, the more abundance appeared in her life. Other people began to approach her, unexpected opportunities arose, and Camilla felt increasingly in tune with life. One afternoon, the two decided to revisit the cafe Camilla had visualized in her meditations. They sat by the window, ordered their favorite coffees, and spent hours talking. During a moment of comfortable silence, Camilla looked around and shivered. She was exactly in the scene she had imagined so many times. Laughing with a friend, feeling whole, surrounded by an atmosphere of sincere connection. It was as if the universe was showing that her visualization exercises had become reality. With teary eyes, Camilla mentally thanked the universe for that moment. She understood once and for all that it wasn't just about wishing or dreaming, but about trusting, feeling, and allowing life to transform. And in that instant, she knew she was on the right path.
Over the following months, Camilla noticed that her life was becoming increasingly rich in experiences and emotions. The friendship with Anais wasn't just an emotional bond, but a true school of life. Every meeting, every conversation seemed to open a new window in her mind and heart. It was as if the universe had chosen this relationship to show her that loneliness would never again need to be her companion. The transformation was so evident that even her professors began to notice. One of her university professors, when handing back an assignment, commented, "Camilla, it's remarkable how much more confident you are in presentations. It's like you've found your voice." These words made her reflect deeply. Not long ago, she had trembled at any public speaking, always feeling invisible. Now, something inside her was blooming, and she knew it had to do with the energy Anaïs's friendship awakened in her. One of the most memorable experiences occurred when Anais invited her to a weekend retreat focused on meditation and self-discovery. At first, Camilla hesitated. She still had insecurities, fears of not fitting in, of being judged. But Anais insisted kindly, "It will be transformative, I promise, and I'll be with you the whole time." Trusting in this partnership, Camilla decided to go. The retreat took place at a small countryside property surrounded by trees, far from city noise. On the first day, she felt she was in a safe, welcoming environment where everyone sought the same thing: connection with themselves and the universe. During guided meditation exercises, Camilla had an experience she would never forget. As she closed her eyes and focused on her breathing, a clear image appeared in her mind. Her and Anais walking side by side along a long sunlit path. She felt that they were not just living a friendship, but walking together on a spiritual journey. When the meditation ended, she was quietly crying. Anais, sitting beside her, held her hand and, without Camilla saying a word, whispered, "I felt it too, that we are connected by something much greater than mere coincidence." This moment further cemented Camilla's certainty. This friendship was a divine gift, a direct answer to what she had asked of the universe. In the days following the retreat, life seemed to flow with a smoothness she had never experienced before. Synchronicities multiplied. Small gestures, unexpected encounters, phrases spoken by strangers that answered her internal reflections. It was as if life had decided to prove once and for all that it was on her side. A clear example occurred one ordinary afternoon when Camilla found an old notebook on her shelf.
As she flipped through it, she realized it was the same journal in which, months before, she had written affirmations about attracting a true friendship. The pages were filled with phrases like, "I attract a sincere connection that understands me," and "I am grateful to have a friend with whom I share my dreams and laughter." As she reread these words, she realized that each one had materialized. It was as if she were looking at living proof of the law of attraction in action. This moved her deeply and made her embrace Anais with tears in her eyes the next time they met. "You are exactly everything I asked for," she said sincerely. Anais smiled and replied, "And you are exactly everything I needed." This reciprocity brought even more security. Camilla no longer feared loss or felt the anxiety that everything might suddenly end. For the first time, she fully trusted that this friendship was solid, rooted in something greater than temporary circumstances. Another aspect that surprised Camilla was how their friendship was beginning to impact others. In the university circle, peers began to be inspired by how she and Anais supported each other. Some even remarked that it seemed rare to see two people with such synchronicity and mutual respect. A classmate named Mariana said, "You remind me what a true friendship is. You make me believe that connections like this still exist." This touched Camilla in an unexpected way. Realizing that her own story of transformation was inspiring others confirmed that the universe always has bigger plans than we can imagine. With each new situation, Camilla strengthened her gratitude practice. Before sleeping, she mentally listed at least 5 things she was grateful for, and Anais was almost always among them. Over time, she noticed that this habit helped her sleep more peacefully and wake up more energized. Beyond that, she realized that her energy attracted more positive situations. People approached her with smiles, opportunities arose naturally, and her self-confidence grew. One of the deepest conversations between them took place on a starry night while walking along a lakefront near the city. Camilla, looking at the sky, said, "You know, I think loneliness was a kind of teacher for me. It taught me what I really wanted, made me sincerely ask the universe. But I never imagined I would receive something as beautiful as your friendship." Anais, moved, replied, "I've been alone too, Camilla, and when I manifested more love and connection in my life, I didn't expect it to come so intensely. I think, deep down, we attracted each other." This conversation sealed a new understanding. Camilla realized that the manifestation hadn't been one-sided. Perhaps, in some mysterious way, she and Anais were manifesting for each other, in sync, at different times, until the universe placed them on the same path. This idea gave her chills, but also filled her with profound gratitude. Over time, Camilla began expanding her desires. She no longer wanted just to heal her loneliness. She dreamed of travels, new experiences, projects that could bring meaning. And Anais was always by her side, encouraging her. "If you were able to manifest this friendship, Camilla, you are capable of manifesting anything," she would say. These words strengthened her and constantly reminded her of the power she held within. Indeed, the more trust she cultivated, the more life seemed to respond. Invitations to participate in cultural projects arose, interesting academic opportunities appeared, and even new social circles opened up. But deep down, Camilla knew the greatest treasure had already been won: the friendship that healed her loneliness, reminding her that she would never again have to face the world alone. It was only the beginning of a new life, but she already felt she was walking on fertile, illuminated ground, full of possibilities, and, above all, with her heart warmed by the certainty that she had found someone who not only walked beside her, but reminded her daily of how deserving she was of love, connection, and happiness.
Camilla woke up that morning with a different feeling in her chest, as if something inside her had quietly expanded overnight. It wasn't just the memory of the lightness she had been experiencing since she started applying the law of attraction in her life, but a kind of silent certainty that something greater was unfolding. For the first time in a long while, she got up without the shadow of loneliness weighing on her shoulders. She sat on the edge of the bed, took a deep breath, and let that feeling of gratitude flood her body. She remembered when everything had felt empty and how difficult it had been to believe that any change could actually happen. Today, however, there was no doubt in her mind. Something was blossoming. As she prepared her coffee, Camila thought about how small actions had made a difference. It wasn't as if life had transformed overnight, but with every gesture of self-care, every visualization, every affirmation, she was building a stronger and more confident version of herself. And this internal change was already reflecting outward. People began to notice. At work, colleagues who had barely spoken to her before now sought her company, commenting on how her energy seemed different. On the bus, strangers exchanged spontaneous smiles. Even her mother, with whom the relationship had grown distant over the years, seemed closer, sending caring messages and asking how she was doing. It was as if the world around her was responding directly to the new vibration she was emanating. It was then that Camila realized that her desire for connection was manifesting in unexpected ways. It wasn't just about finding a great friendship, but about creating an energetic field that attracted people, moments, and experiences aligned with what she desired. And among all these subtle changes, one stood out the most: her relationship with Anna. Anna had entered her life a few weeks earlier, as a surprise, almost as if sent by the universe in direct response to Camila's intentions. At first, the friendship seemed ordinary, but over time, Camila realized that something deeper was happening. Anna had a unique ability to listen without judgment, to offer words of comfort when needed, and above all, to inspire Camila to believe in herself. That morning, while having her coffee, Camila picked up her phone and found a message from Anna. "Good morning, Cami. I dreamed we traveled together to a place full of colors and music. I think we need to plan an adventure like that soon." Camila smiled. She felt that it was a reflection of what she herself had been dreaming, not just in the literal sense of traveling, but of expanding horizons, of living experiences that once seemed distant. She responded enthusiastically, and soon they were exchanging ideas and possibilities. Throughout the day, Camila couldn't stop thinking about how incredible it was to be surrounded by someone who shared the same vibration. She remembered when she used to write in her journal phrases like, "I attract true friendships that make me feel loved and valued." And now there was Anna, not as a coincidence, but as a direct result of her conscious practice. Later, while walking together in the park, Camila opened her heart. She spoke about how lost she had felt before discovering the law of attraction, about the night she cried in loneliness and thought that nothing would ever change. Anna listened attentively, held her hand, and said, "You have no idea how much you inspire me. Knowing that you chose to rise, change your energy, and believe that good things were possible, it reminds me that I can also create the life I want." These words touched Camila deeply. It was in that moment that she understood her journey wasn't just about receiving, but also about giving. Her transformation served as a beacon for others. By taking care of herself, she made space for others to also feel inspired to seek the best. The following days were filled with meetings, laughter, deep conversations, and moments of comfortable silence. Camila was amazed at how easily she could now open up, trust, and believe that she deserved this connection. The loneliness that had once felt like an unbearable weight was disappearing, replaced by a constant feeling of belonging. One day, looking in the mirror, Camila barely recognized herself. Not because her appearance had changed, but because the expression on her face reflected peace, confidence, and joy. "I attracted this," she thought. "I created this reality." But she also knew this was only the beginning. She felt the universe had more to offer, as if this were just the first chapter of a larger story. One quiet night, after spending hours talking with Anna, Camila lay in bed and reflected on her journey so far.
She remembered the first day she heard about the law of attraction, the skepticism she had felt, the first clumsy attempts at visualization, and the difficulty of keeping faith when nothing seemed to change. And now, looking at everything she had achieved, she understood that every stage had been essential. Loneliness had taught her to value true connection. Pain had driven her to seek something greater, and the daily practice of gratitude had opened the doors for the universe to respond. As she closed her eyes, a phrase echoed in her mind. You wanted a friendship that would heal your loneliness, but the universe brought so much more. It brought a friendship that awakens your essence and reminds you of your own power. Camila fell asleep with a smile, ready to continue discovering how far this journey could take her.
Camila woke up on a Saturday morning with the feeling that something inside her had realigned overnight. The soft light streaming through the curtains seemed warmer, more alive, as if reflecting the state of mind now occupying the space where loneliness once reigned. She got up, made herself a coffee, and gazed out the window, watching the people passing by on the street. What surprised her most was realizing that she no longer felt envy or emptiness when she saw couples walking hand in hand or friends laughing together. Now, within her, there was a new serenity, as if she had finally found what she had been seeking for so long, the feeling of belonging. She thought of Anna. The friendship they had built seemed like a gift carefully wrapped by the universe. In every conversation, every exchange of glances, and every shared silence, there was something beyond words. It was as if both of them knew it wasn't just coincidence. Camila remembered the nights she wrote affirmation phrases in her journal, wishing to attract a sincere friendship that would make her feel seen and valued. And now, seeing it all manifest so tangibly, it was impossible not to be moved. That same Saturday, Anna invited her to join a small meditation and spiritual study group she attended. Camila hesitated for a moment, unsure, but decided to accept. If life is giving me opportunities to expand, I won't refuse, she thought. Upon arriving, she was welcomed by people of different ages and backgrounds, all with a similar sparkle in their eyes, as if sharing the same quest: to understand more deeply the power of the mind, energy, and connection with the universe. During meditation, Camila felt something intense. Closing her eyes and breathing, she felt she wasn't alone, that a greater presence was enveloping the space. It was as if an invisible web connected everyone there, supporting them in a field of love and acceptance. When the practice ended, discreet tears streamed down Camila's face. They weren't tears of sadness, but of recognition. It was as if she had finally found herself in a place where she could be who she truly was, without masks or judgment. In the following days, this experience resonated in her heart. Camila began practicing meditation at home every morning, along with her visualizations and affirmations. She felt that the more she connected with this energy, the more doors opened. Situations that were once complicated seemed to resolve with ease, and new people, aligned with what she sought, entered her life almost effortlessly. It was as if she had found a current guiding her, and all she needed to do was flow with it. Anna, noticing the different glow in her friend, commented one afternoon while walking in the park. "Cammy, you know what I admire most about you? That you didn't just believe, you surrendered to the process. Many people give up when they don't see immediate results, but you trusted, persisted, and now you're reaping something far greater than you could imagine." Camila smiled and replied, "At first, I thought I needed someone to save me from loneliness. Today, I understand that the first friendship I needed to cultivate was with myself. And when that happened, the universe brought you and so many other blessings." These words echoed within her. She realized that the emptiness that once consumed her wasn't caused solely by the absence of people, but by the distance she had kept from her own essence. By reconnecting with herself, loving and valuing herself, she had created space for the external world to reflect that back. One night, Camila decided to revisit her old notebooks. She found pages full of sad confessions, heavy words, and feelings of hopelessness.
She read a few lines and was struck by the difference between that version of herself and who she had become. If I could speak to Camila from a few months ago, she thought, I'd tell her not to give up, to believe that life can change in unimaginable ways. She felt a strong impulse and decided to write a letter to herself, but this time not to vent pain, but to celebrate achievements. On the paper, she wrote, "Dear Camila, you are no longer alone. You have learned that love begins within you, and that the universe responds when you choose to vibrate gratitude. You asked for a friendship and received not only that, but a mirror showing your own strength. Keep believing, because this is just the beginning." When she finished, she kept the letter in a special box as a tangible reminder of her journey. Over time, other areas of life also began to transform. At work, opportunities appeared unexpectedly. Her boss invited her to join an important project, recognizing her dedication and positive energy. Camila realized that the confidence she had been cultivating in herself reflected directly in her demeanor, and people around her responded accordingly. Even her family noticed the change. Her mother, who had seemed distant, now made a point to call almost every day. Her father, more reserved, commented at a Sunday lunch, "Daughter, I don't know exactly what you've been doing, but I see that you're happier. That's what matters." These simple gestures warmed Camila's heart. She felt the law of attraction had not only brought a friendship, but was rebuilding bonds, strengthening connections, and illuminating parts of life that once seemed dark. One rainy afternoon, Anna and Camila stayed talking in a cafe. The sound of rain hitting the windows created a cozy atmosphere. Anna looked at her and said, "Cami, sometimes I think we met because we needed each other. I also had my emptiness, my insecurities, and seeing your courage to change made me believe I could too." Camila smiled, touched. "Maybe that's exactly it, Anna. Maybe the universe brought us together not only to heal my loneliness, but so that together we can grow and remember our power." That night when she returned home, Camila lay down and stared at the ceiling. She felt gratitude in a way words could not capture. She remembered the questions she used to ask when she was at her lowest. Will I ever find someone who understands me? Will I stop feeling this emptiness? Today she had the living answer before her. Yes, it was possible. And more than that, she realized that when we ask something of the universe, we rarely receive it exactly as we imagined. Instead of just companionship, she had received a transformative friendship, a mirror of growth, and a path to rediscover herself. Before falling asleep, she offered a silent prayer. "Thank you, universe. Thank you for showing me that I was never truly alone. Thank you for teaching me that the key was within me all along. And thank you for bringing people and moments that reflect this love back to me." With a warmed heart and a peaceful mind, Camila fell asleep, knowing that there was still much more to experience, but that she had already found what she had long sought: connection, healing, and belonging.
Camila woke up that morning with a vibrant energy running through her veins. It was as if the sun had risen especially to remind her that life could be a constant gift. As she stretched in bed, she remembered the days when mornings felt heavy, when opening her eyes seemed more like a burden than a blessing. Now, each awakening came with a sense of positive expectation, an almost unshakable certainty that something good was on its way. She knew this change was not a matter of chance. It was the result of her daily choice to align her mind, her emotions, and her energy with what she wanted to manifest. That morning, after preparing her coffee and writing a few lines of gratitude in her journal, Camila decided to review everything she had recorded over the past months. As she flipped through the pages, she saw not just words, but living testimonies of her transformation. The phrases that had once been desperate pleas, like, "I want to find someone who understands me," or "I don't want to feel alone anymore," now gave way to firm and confident statements. "I am surrounded by love. I attract people who resonate on the same wavelength as me. My life is full of genuine connections."
As she read, she realized that she had not only manifested an incredible friendship with Anna, but was also becoming a beacon of light for others. Her more open demeanor, lighter energy, and confident presence drew looks of curiosity and admiration. People at work began seeking her out for advice, old friends reappeared in her life, and even strangers felt comfortable striking up conversations with her. Camila began to notice that her journey was not limited to herself. It was also about inspiring and impacting the world around her. During one of the weekly meditation sessions she now attended with Anna, someone in the group commented, "Camila, your energy is contagious. Whenever you arrive, it feels like the room becomes lighter." These words moved her. For the first time, she realized that what she had been cultivating within herself radiated tangibly to others. It was as if she were becoming the kind of person she had once sought to find. As the days passed, Anna began encouraging Camila to share more of her story. "You have no idea how much you could help others who are still going through what you've already overcome," she said. Camila hesitated, feeling insecure about exposing herself, but at the same time, she knew there was truth and power in her experiences. She began timidly, telling a few close friends how she had used the law of attraction to transform her loneliness into connection. With each story, she noticed teary eyes, expressions of hope, and even gratitude for sharing something so intimate and real. One sunny afternoon, sitting on a park bench with Anna, Camila confessed, "You know, sometimes I'm afraid people won't believe me, that they'll think it's just a coincidence." Anna, with that steady gaze that always seemed to see beyond Camila's doubts, replied, "Cami, your truth doesn't need approval. What you experienced is real, and the most powerful thing is not to convince others, but to inspire those who are ready to listen." These words etched themselves into Camila's mind, a reminder that her story didn't need to be validated by everyone, but should be shared with authenticity. Their friendship also deepened. It wasn't just about laughter and light conversations, but a safe space for vulnerability. Anna was the first person Camila felt comfortable showing her weaknesses to without fear of judgment. And in return, Camila offered the same support. It was a balanced exchange, a perfect reflection of what Camila had always dreamed of, a true friendship that not only filled the void, but nourished the soul. Over time, Camila began to realize that the universe had given her even more than she had asked for. It wasn't just a friendship that healed her loneliness, but a path of constant growth, self-discovery, and understanding the power of the mind. One evening, after returning from another group meeting, Camila sat on the edge of her bed and reflected. "How many people are going through what I went through? How many feel lonely, believing nothing can change?" This question stirred her deeply. She felt an almost uncontrollable urge to do something about it. She grabbed a new notebook and began writing ideas for how she could share her story more broadly. She didn't yet know if it would be through a blog, videos, talks, or simple casual conversations, but she was clear that she needed to spread this message, that it is possible to transform reality through faith, gratitude, and alignment with the universe. At the same time, she continued living special moments with Anna. They began planning small trips, like a weekend at the beach where they could watch the sunrise, hand in hand, in silence, simply feeling the vastness of the sea and the certainty that they were exactly where they should be. These moments became precious memories, symbols of everything Camila had attracted into her life. But it wasn't only in moments of joy that the friendship proved strong. On a day when Camila felt insecure facing a situation at work, it was Anna who sent her a message. "Remember who you are. You've already overcome much bigger things." These simple words were enough for Camila to stand up and face the challenge with courage. As the months went by, Camila realized she was not only experiencing personal transformation, but also helping create a ripple of change around her. People who had once been closed off began to open up. Friends who felt lonely began seeking inspiration from her to change their own lives. It was as if the universe was amplifying the impact of her journey, using her as an instrument to touch other hearts. One night, looking at the starry sky from her apartment balcony, Camila felt a wave of gratitude so intense that tears streamed down her face. She remembered months ago looking at that same sky with a sense of emptiness and loneliness. Now, what she saw was different. The stars seemed to shine brighter, not because they had changed, but because her eyes had learned to see the beauty she had once ignored. I asked for a friendship that would heal my loneliness, she thought, but the universe gave me so much more. It gave me a mirror, it gave me purpose, it gave me proof that I am capable of creating the life I desire. With this reflection, Camila understood that her journey was still ongoing. There was much more to discover, much more to live, much more to share. But above all, she had learned to trust. Trust herself, trust the process, and trust that the universe always responds to intentions aligned with love and gratitude. That night, as she closed her eyes to sleep, one certainty filled her mind. The future was an infinite field of possibilities, and she was ready to explore it.
Camila woke up that morning feeling a deep sense of peace, as if the entire universe had conspired to remind her that she would never be alone again. Life, which had once seemed like a solitary and barren road, now appeared as an illuminated path, full of possibilities, connections, and meaningful experiences. Looking out the window, she was filled with gratitude. Every detail of daily life, the sunlight reflecting off the leaves, the distant song of a bird, the gentle breeze, seemed imbued with special significance, as if everything conspired to remind her that the transformation she was experiencing was real, tangible, and eternal. Over the past few months, Camila had undergone a profound change. Her friendship with Anna was not just pleasant companionship, it was a catalyst for growth, self-discovery, and happiness. Every conversation, every hug, every gesture of support had strengthened her self-confidence, healed old wounds, and awakened in her a broader understanding of the power of conscious manifestation. She now knew that what we ask of the universe with clarity, faith, and alignment always finds a way to materialize, often in ways we could never have imagined. What amazed Camila most was realizing how that friendship was transforming not only her life, but also the lives of those around her. At work, colleagues approached her seeking inspiration and positive energy. At university, shy students felt encouraged by her confident demeanor. And in conversations with friends and family, her story became a beacon of hope for those who, like her, had faced loneliness and doubt. Camila realized that her own growth was creating ripples that spread, subtly yet powerfully touching lives. One day, while walking with Anna through a blooming garden, Camila reflected on the journey she had made. She remembered nights when she cried alone, mornings when she rose without motivation, and the overwhelming feeling of isolation. Comparing it with the present, the difference was so intense it brought her to tears. She looked at Anna and said, "Did you know you changed my life in a way I could never have imagined?" Anna smiled, squeezed her hand, and replied, "And you changed mine. I think we found each other because we needed one another to remember that love, friendship, and connection exist, even when everything seems lost." In that moment, Camila understood that her manifestation had not been just about companionship. She had asked for friendship, but received transformation, healing, and growth. The manifestation revealed itself as an experience far greater than she could have imagined. It was as if the universe had prepared a gift that exceeded expectations, a friendship capable of awakening the best within her, strengthening her mind, heart, and spirit. In the following days, Camila continued applying the law of attraction in other aspects of her life. Academic projects began to flourish, professional opportunities arose unexpectedly, and her personal confidence reached levels she had never believed possible. More than that, the energy she radiated began to attract new friendships and experiences that resonated with her newly discovered frequency.
Everything seemed to follow a natural, almost magical flow, as if she were finally learning to dance in harmony with the universe. A moment that deeply marked Camila occurred during a group meeting at the university, where she had the opportunity to share her story with classmates and professors. With a firm yet emotional voice, she told how she had manifested a friendship that healed her loneliness, and how that connection had transformed her in ways she could never have predicted. At the end, many applauded, some were even moved to tears, and several classmates approached her after the presentation, thanking her for sharing such a genuine and inspiring experience. Camila realized at that moment that manifesting her own life had the power to inspire others to believe in their own capacity for transformation. The following weeks were marked by increasingly meaningful encounters and conversations with Anna. Together, they explored new places, shared dreams, and reflected on how they could use their experiences to positively impact others. Camila began to understand that true friendship was not just about receiving, but also about giving, supporting, inspiring, and walking side by side in mutual growth. There were also moments of introspection. During quiet nights, Camila revisited her old notes and journals, comparing her past self with who she had become. Each page was a testament to her evolution, and gratitude flooded her heart. She recognized that the loneliness she had felt in the past had been a disguised opportunity. It had taught her to understand her own desires, to value her essence, and to trust the power of conscious manifestation. Every tear, every fear, every moment of doubt shaped the confident and vibrant person she had become. Over time, Camila realized that her story of manifestation could extend beyond personal experiences. She decided to create a small online project to share lessons, stories, and techniques that had helped her transform her life. The idea was simple but powerful: to show that the law of attraction was not just a theory, but a real and accessible practice, capable of healing, connecting, and transforming. Anna, as always, was by her side, offering support and ideas, and together they began developing content that soon started to attract attention and positive feedback. It was in this context that Camila had a profound insight. Every friendship, every true connection was a direct reflection of the energy she put out into the world. By aligning herself with gratitude, love, and authenticity, she not only attracted people, but also created a space for life to manifest in its most abundant form. Anna had been the first mirror of this reality, but the universe continued to send opportunities and connections that reflected the same frequency that now resided in her heart. One summer afternoon, while walking through the square with Anna, Camila realized that her story had an even greater purpose: to serve as inspiration for others who felt the weight of loneliness and doubted they could change their lives. With a confident smile, she said to Anna, "If I can do it, anyone can. All we need is to believe, ask, and align our thoughts and emotions with what we want." Anna responded enthusiastically, "And you'll prove it works for others too. Your story isn't just yours, Cami. It belongs to everyone who needs hope." At the end of the day, returning home, Camila sat on the balcony and looked at the sky. The horizon was painted in shades of orange and pink, reflecting the peace she felt inside. She took a deep breath and silently thanked the universe for every moment she had lived, for every lesson learned, and for every true friendship. She realized that what she had asked the universe for was not just someone's companionship, but the possibility of transforming her own life, and through it, impacting others. Before going to sleep, she opened her newest journal and wrote, "I manifested a friendship that healed my loneliness, and through it, I discovered the infinite capacity I have to attract love, joy, and purpose into my life. I am ready to keep growing, to share my story, and to inspire those willing to believe that transformation is possible." She closed the notebook with a smile, feeling complete, confident, and aligned with the universe in a way she had never experienced before. And this is how the story of Camila Rivera teaches us something essential. When we open space in our hearts and believe with faith and gratitude, we not only receive what we ask for, but are also transformed by the process. The loneliness that once felt overwhelming becomes a lesson. desires materialize in ways that exceed our expectations. And life, once full of uncertainties, becomes a fertile field of experiences, friendships, and meaningful connections. If you connected with Camila's story with the power of manifestation and gratitude, I want you to do something now. Comment below with a word that represents what you felt after reading this story. It could be friendship, gratitude, transformation, or any word that summarizes your experience. Your participation not only helps spread positive energy, but also lets us know that you followed every step of this transformative journey. And remember, if Camila was able to manifest something so powerful in her life, so can you. The universe is always listening.